Hey guys, good morning and happy holidays. I know we're right in the middle of holiday season, so I hope you're enjoying your time. We have some time off from work on the actual holiday days. That's been nice. And my mug today is my Wally mug, Eve. And it's one of my favorite movies, and I picked this because I feel like that movie has a lot of themes around new beginnings and new world. And since at the end of this week it's New Year's, I figured we'll center this tea around New Year's resolutions and what type of goals to set. So the title of this tea is One Day or Day One, You Decide. And I want to talk to you how to change ideas that are like one day type of dreams into actionable things that you're actually saying day one. I know for myself, I feel like I have a lot of things that are one day type of things just because I'm very much a dreamer, and I do have a lot of things that I want to achieve, and I don't necessarily have action plans for all of them, but there's steps that you can take to start creating those for certain goals. So for your New Year's resolutions, maybe you could pick maybe one or two things that you have on your list of like one day type of things, and you can think about, I'm going to list like 3 different ways to think about it. So one is you want to be able to define a reasonable schedule for it, that you'll allow you to iterate on it and build on it at a pace that's comfortable for you. So for example, if like saying like, oh yeah, I want to do this workout like daily, or if that sounds like too much, maybe you could start with saying like, well, I'll do this workout every other day, or something like that is more manageable, or every few days even. And by kind of creating looser windows at the beginning, it'll be a lot easier to get started. So I want to pair with this idea, it's also important to have dedicated space for it. So like if we are going to use the workout one, for example, like having a space to work out that is dedicated for that. It makes it easier to know like, well, once you go into that space, that's what that time is for. And you can use that idea too for like, whether it's like art or something, and maybe like, you know, a weekly goal for that maybe feels like a lot. So maybe you want to say like, okay, well, once a month I'll create like a piece of music or something, and same thing, you create a space for that where you can do that. The second part is understanding that some of your one day goals, even if they are something in the future, you can turn into day one things now. So to say, well, one day I want to get a new property or a car or whatever. Your day one can start now, because you can say, well, every paycheck, so starting on, that will be your day one, I put away X amount of money. And then you do that for each paycheck until eventually you have, you know, the money to get what your goal is. So for example, so that's the second part. And then the third one I was going to mention is that I think it's okay to have goals that maybe you know aren't like right now goals. So like this comes back to a tea I was talking to with like pumpkins and talking about seasons, that I think that certain things are seasonal. So maybe you have certain goals where, you know, even though it's January 1st soon, like you don't need to start that right now, or even like the plan for it right now, other than like making sure that you know you want to follow up with that later in the year. Because certain things, like they just don't make sense right now, but they are important to you, you know, and whatever that might be. Like maybe you have a certain goal that, you know, like for me, for example, like I'm purposely putting on hold because, you know, like I have certain things that maybe it's not safe to travel for right now because of COVID or whatever. So putting pauses on things is okay, if like circumstances require it. But write it down and like put it in a spot or that'll remind you, or like maybe put a calendar event on your calendar now. So like say like, oh yeah, like it's gonna go off in January to remind me, or like July, I mean, to do that thing later in the year. But yeah, so that's it. I hope that kind of helps you think of like a structure of how to create New Year's resolutions. If you have any that you'd like to share, I'd love to hear them. And other than that, I hope you have a great rest of your Tuesday, and I will see you next week. All right, aloha, bye.